So I spent 30 good years of my life behind the mask and I did not realize. I've been uncovering this mask. Let me say, I've been uncovering it since like 2022 when I actually decided to start working on myself seriously because something happened and I was like, wait, what's going on? I literally removed this mask finally in January. I just discovered a whole lot of things and I won't say I was angry. I felt so sad. I cried. I cried ugly tears. In fact, my husband was the one consoling me. I cried so much because I realized I didn't have to go through everything I went through. Like, life is not even supposed to be this hard. A little backstory here. I grew up in a somewhat unhealthy family. So I learned very early in life that love came with conditions. So I had to perform all my life. I had to keep quiet and not voice out my discomfort to keep the peace so that nobody would be angry. I had to make everybody happy, even though I was making myself sad. I had to do a lot of self abandonment just to be accepted. Most people think you wear a mask to deceive people or to act like who you are not. Well, to me, I did not use it to deceive people. I used it to survive because that was what I learned very early in life. Continuation of my story. My family dynamic was not like where I am right now. I would never ever want to recreate that kind of family dynamics. Everything I learned while growing up became the template I was using to live my life. Even though I had outgrown a lot of things, even though I was not in that environment again, my nervous system learned how to survive through everything I went through when I was young. So that was what it kept using till now. After 30, I'll be 32 in 4 months. I just discovered some basic things. Even though I'm aware of these things, I've been working on myself for a while. I still just discovered it. So when you grow up in a chaotic environment, a chaotic family, you will learn very early that you will be loved when you are quiet. You'll be loved when you don't cause problem, when you don't voice out your discomfort, when you don't do something out of the norms that you people have in your family. So even when something hurts you, you will not be able to voice out because they may just tell you are doing too much. Oh, when someone shut up, what are you doing? What's your own is so much like stuff like that. So you just learn to always keep to yourself. I mean, when I was young, I was told in fact, I remember some that I used to be very outspoken. I used to be very outspoken. I used to talk like along the line. I became mute. I became mute. I didn't used to talk because in a typical African home, we chop beating. We will chop beating. Ah, I chop beating. No, I will not lie. I chop beating. So I didn't know it made me like like a crab. Let me describe like a crab. When you poke it, it will go back into its shell. That's exactly how I was. In fact, I'm even a cancer. So I don't really believe in that shit. But so I became mute. I did not really used to talk. I became the good girl, the one that would abandon herself, the one that would please everybody, the one that wants everybody to be happy, even while abandoning myself, the one that would not ask for help, the one that feels like she does not need help. Like a whole lot of things that I discovered that I developed as a coping mechanism to survive because of the environment I grew up in. When I discovered I was a people pleaser, I was actually shocked because I thought I had firm boundaries. I did not have boundaries. I did not have boundaries because I accepted a lot of people that I did not really want in my space. I reduced my standard. Will I say I reduced? I put my standard on the floor. Like I put my standard on the floor because I thought I deserved less. Maybe because of where I came from, or maybe because God will not give me what I want. Let me just settle for less. Like I did it. Thinking of it now, in fact, I don't feel angry anymore. I just feel sad because I didn't have to do all that. I didn't know a lot of things that I know now. So I was only running with what I knew then. And so I became a people pleaser, a perfectionist. Perfectionism almost ruined my life because it made me work extra hard. I was always working to mask whatever I was going through. I didn't even realize I was going through anything actually. I was always working. I worked out to the extent that it started affecting my health. Like I went to the hospital, the doctor was like, how did I get to this place? Like everything started that time. Like I neglected myself so much. I went through a lot of unnecessary stress. Like I didn't have to. Looking back now, I became a typical strong woman. Like a strong, like, I hate that word now. If anybody should call me strong woman, I can throw you. I hate. Nobody should call me strong woman again in this life. Like it became my identity. I'm not sure anybody has seen me cry in this life. If anybody has seen me cry, maybe it was a tragedy, maybe a loss or something. But like I am crying. There was a time I was crying during my NYC. I was crying in my room, and then my friend knocked. The speed that I used to clean my face, I cleaned my face immediately. Like I just acted normal as if nothing was wrong. Guess what? She came to tell me what she was going through, and I started consoling her. Meanwhile, I was going through my own. I hate it. That's the typical Yoruba will say, "Oh, sorry, oh, fati, lowo." Exactly. I was there for everybody except myself. There was a time I was crying because I was accepting what I did not want to accept, but I could not voice out. People would do things, and I would say, I don't want us to quarrel. I had, I had friendships that they were doing things I didn't like, but I could not talk because I didn't want to hurt them. Like I was literally putting them before myself. If a lot of people that has been my friend should know what was happening deep within me, in fact, they will pity me. But I did not show it. I wore a mask. Obviously, I wore a mask, so nobody could tell if anything was wrong with me. I was the only one that knew that. I was self-sabotaging so much. I invalidated my own feelings. I abandoned myself, bro. It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. I lacked self-worth. I lacked self-love because if I love myself, I will not overwork myself to the extent of breaking down. Sometimes I won't eat till evening. When I was in Ibadan, I have a friend, Amina. Whenever she comes to our house, sometimes I will be walking. She will be the one to come and ask me if I've eaten. I'll say, I've forgotten. Like, who forgets to eat? Eh? Because if I treat this my body like someone God gave me to take care of, someone I love, I will not stab somebody I love now. I will take care of the person. So why was I not able to take care of myself the way I was supposed to? Why? Because I learned it too early that I need to take care of others to be accepted instead of taking care of myself. That's a very crazy way to live. Like I would overwork myself. I could not rest. I could not rest because it felt like I was doing something wrong. If I eventually try to rest, I'll feel so guilty because I'm resting. I'll overwork myself. Am I not supposed to be able to rest? Well, no, I'll feel guilty because I'm resting. Why? Because in a typical African home, you can't just sit down. You can't just sit down and exist. They'll say, Kilo Njogoche, what are you doing? Have you washed late? Have you do this? Have you do that? So you practically don't have any time to yourself to be yourself, to relax. You relax in an African home. So the younger version of me took that as how I was supposed to live. So he registered rest as dangerous. I could not rest. If you are like that, you need to go back to your childhood and check how it started. And then the mask also came from a lot of things I went through in my childhood. Like I lost my mom when I was 10 years old. That one is a story for another day. Imagine losing your mom when you were 10, and the story long. The story long. I did not grow up with my dad. He was staying in because like a typical polygamous, separated polygamous home. So we were not staying up. One thing I used to say to you now is that I've never seen my dad and mom in the same room, like under the same roof, that they sat there like a complete family. They were really were life. So I don't know what a complete family looks like. I did not experience it. Part of why I used to say marriage is something I will get right. Mm-mm. My parents did not get it right, so I would never ever make that mistake. I used to say I would rather stay single. Everybody that knows me know that I was not desperate to get married. I would rather stay single than make the same mistake my parents made. So, in fact, becoming a mom now has made me realize a whole lot of things. Like, I don't want my daughter to go through half of what I don't want her to go through. So, because when you are young and something hurts you deeply, the nervous system does not think, I have to heal, I have to let it go. No, it tries to develop a coping mechanism for you to survive. So, if when you voice out your discomfort, you say something and they tell you to shut up or they beat you, what your younger self would see is that if I should voice out my discomfort, they will beat me. Oh. They will be angry. Oh. So let me not talk. Let me swallow it. Let me bottle it up. It will make you develop into a people pleaser that would not even be able to voice out in serious situations. You will not be able to say your mind. You will not be able to, in fact, you will avoid conflict so much because it will trigger you. What is triggering is what you experienced when you were young, not because of what is happening at the moment. Bro, this thing is so sad. From age 0 to 7 years old is the imprinting stage. So everything you experience during that stage is like a template for how you will live your life. Everything you are doing right now, I can 100% bet that if you've not worked on yourself or you've not tried to look back to how you were raised, Oyame, you are most likely being run by your younger version. The person that is running your life right now is your 7 year old or 5 years old or 3 years old version. Seriously. Let me tell you another example I noticed. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't eat early. If 12, I be 11, never now, I cannot go to think of it I want. Or if I never want faint, I will not think of what to eat. So then I decided that I want to be eating early. I don't want to eat late again. When I now went back to my childhood, I realized that in our house, you cannot just wake up and say you are hungry and you eat out from where who born you. You have to go and wash your plates, go and wash your clothes, go and do everything you have to do before you will be able to eat. That's during weekends because during weekdays you go to school, so we don't even we don't eat breakfast in our house. The breakfast we are supposed to eat during weekends is it will still be late because after washing plate, after fetching water, after doing this and that, time don't go. So that was what the younger version of me took as the normal way of living. So even my adult self, there's no way I could bring myself to eat early. In fact, if I should eat early, I'll have running stomach because my body is not used to it. Like a whole lot of things, even money. Because how I grew up, like we didn't really have enough. We stayed in a one-room apartment, so imagine 5 people in one room. So we were literally living from hand to mouth. Scarcity is not something I learned, it is what I grew up in. So if I'm talking about unlearning survival mode, scarcity and all, I grew up in it. I know it. I lived it. So it affected how I saw money and handled money to an extent before I started unlearning it. I used to feel like I had to work hard before I could make money. Because that was how it was then. But now I keep telling myself I don't have to work hard to make money. I do. So if you grew up in that kind of household, your self-worth will be low. Why? Because even when you start making this money and you start working, you will not be able to charge your worth. Because money conversations will make you so uncomfortable. Because when you were younger, money conversation was stressful. It made you uncomfortable. It is something you guys don't have in your house. Money is something you people don't have in your house. So when they talk about money when you were younger, it is something that is not pleasant. So now that you have grown up, it is still not pleasant. Even though you've learned how to manage it, you are working, you are getting paid, but you will not be able to charge your worth, especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you are working a 9 to 5, that's still better, it's still safe for you. But as an entrepreneur, your eyes will peel. You will not be able to charge. And in fact, I saw it and I had to face it and work on it. I would want to increase my price. I would not be able to. I'll be running at a loss. I'll not be able to. I worked on a whole lot of things. In fact, after I discovered this last month, January 2026, I had to shut down part of my business. I sell skincare products, but now I have decided to stop. Like I just can't because it was taking a whole lot from me. I had to work on a whole lot of things too. I wanted to upgrade, I wanted to do some things, but like I don't even want to let anything stress me for now. Everything should pause. Let me build myself, let me work on myself first. And hey, let me get out of the survival mode completely. Then I can create and thrive from a better mindset. At first, the mask I wore protected me. I won't lie, it protected me because it kept me on my feet. But after a while, I just got tired. I got really tired. I was feeling resentment. I was feeling exhaustion. I was tired. I was confused. I was overthinking. I just kept asking, like, who am I? Who even am I? Who am I when nobody is watching? Like, who am I? Because when I'm alone, I like myself. I like how I act. I'm always carefree. I do everything I want. But when somebody is around, I won't be able to show up as my authentic self. There's a way I act. I don't have like my full authentic self when I am around people. When I realized that, I was like, why am I doing like this? What's happening? Then I started to remove the mask bit by bit, and boy, the things that I discovered. So the little girl in me was literally running my adult life. Without my knowledge, I didn't even know. Like, she was doing everything to keep me safe because she was scared. She was scared. Like, what we as human want to feel is safety. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. Like if you are loved, you will be safe. Safety, that's the baseline. That's if you don't feel safe, there is nothing you can do. You will always go back to your survival pattern. I did not feel safe. Like I've never felt safe anywhere. I only just started feeling safe now after becoming a mother. It's so funny to me now, but it's actually not funny. I've not felt completely safe because I was always protecting myself from one thing or the other. In relationships, I used to protect myself from abandonment because I had abandonment issues. I did not grow up with my dad. My mom died while I was young, so it felt like people that were supposed to take care of me abandoned me. That was how the little girl in me saw it. She could not understand what was going on. So that's how she interpreted it. So when I get into relationships, I would already be bracing up for when they will leave. That's why I used to say I'm a leaver. Like there's nobody I cannot leave. Whatever you do within the twinkle of an eye, I don't jackpot. I will leave you. Because I used to feel like I'll put myself first. Oh, I will leave you. If you do anything that I don't like, I will leave you. And then I realized it was a trauma response. It's a survival pattern. I was in flight mode. Because if you're in survival, you'll be in fight or flight mode, like fight or flight, freeze and fun. Yeah. So I was in flight mode. Any small thing I don't jackpot. But where I was supposed to live, I will not live. The flight mode made me not comfortable with resting. I was always moving on to the next thing. I want to do this, I want to do that. I could not just fully sit and rest and be still. It felt dangerous to my body because remember, what your younger version saw as safety was what it developed to make you survive. So if you could not rest when you were young because they used to criticize you or judge you, you will not be able to rest when you get old because your subconscious, your nervous system has already viewed it as something bad. So resting was bad and working was safe. So you will work and work and work and overwork yourself till you pay me. So if you don't realize this thing quick, you just keep going in circles. You don't understand why you are doing some things. You don't understand why some things keep happening. And also, it happens in relationships. I had to work on that pattern before I was able to meet my husband, and I would say he's exactly the kind of man I wanted. But I have been attracting the opposite of him for years. Why? Because I was like a magnet to them. That reminds me, if you are working on mending your relationship with yourself and you want to attract a better partner, I have a digital product called the Love Magnet. I have done the work, I have put everything there. How I met my partner, what I did, and how I was able to heal my attachment styles. So I'll link it below. So in relationships, for example, if you grew up with an absent father, you will attract people that would trigger your abandonment wound till you heal that wound. If not, you keep attracting the same people in different bodies. If you ever wonder why you keep attracting this kind of person, maybe sometimes it might be somebody that cheats. You'll be wondering why you keep attracting people that cheat. I don't victim blame. Oh. This one is not about victim blaming, but there is something in you that is attracting them. Listen, sometimes it might be a survival pattern from your childhood. Sometimes it might be a belief. Do you believe all men cheat? If yes, you will attract them. Your belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy that whatever you believe will be true for you. It does not have to be true for everybody. It will be true for only you. And if another person believes that not all men cheat and my own man will not cheat, that is the kind of man the person will attract. I know like this, some people will not even believe that it's possible. They say, it's a lie, all men cheat. Your belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Take this away from this video. Your belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So imagine everything you believed from childhood. Those are the things that are running your life. So now you have to go back and uninstall those beliefs and install new ones to be able to live a better life. So if you resonate with any part of what I shared in this video, I would advise you to start asking yourself questions. Start with the questions first. What are the patterns you are seeing in your life? Do they look like what you've experienced in your childhood? If yes, start working on installing them more. It's a whole lot of work, but it will be worth it. And also, you will lose people that, when you had that unhealthy belief, you will attract some kind of people to yourself. So when you uninstall it, they will fall off. So brace yourself up, prepare for whatever will happen. But I promise you, it is worth it. It's 100% worth it. If you really want to live like the best version of yourself, if you want to live the life God has ordained for you, this one way will they live, will be survival, no be life. You have to go back, remember who you are, peel off the mask, peel off the survival layer, and live as your most authentic self. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.